Hey everybody, welcome to the live stream. Hope everybody's doing good today. It's Friday again. It's funny because Friday is technically kind of my Monday because I take Thursdays off, but it's Friday for everybody else in the world, and hope everybody's doing good. Looks like Doug is still healing and mending, so I know how impatient I was. I had knee surgery about 10 years ago or something, 15, I don't know, a long time ago, and it drove me nuts because I couldn't do anything. So I feel for you, buddy. It just takes some time, but you'll be back on the horse soon. If you need anything, you know where to reach me. I'd be glad to help out if I can do anything to make it a little bit easier for you. But for everybody else, hope everybody else is doing pretty good. So we're going to do some packing material. This stuff, we actually get this stuff a lot, and I don't know why I haven't done it yet. I literally have had a ton of this stuff sitting in my shop. I think I ended up throwing some of it away or I lost it, but I have some left. Not a whole ton of it, but I thought we could play with this. It probably will make some interesting blanks. I don't know. I'm hoping it will. So that's what we're going to cast today. I got 3 ideas, 3 things that we're going to play with. I got 3 pressure pots available. So I made these silicone molds. I just thought let's just use these for today. So we got it's about a 2-inch by like 6-inch, something like that. Kind of like the handle blank or stoppers. We'll do a 6-pin blank mold with some. And if we have enough left, we'll do those 2 first. I'm hoping that we have at least some left. I thought we could do a PVC pipe. This is a 3-inch. So 3 things. The cool thing about this is we can add as much color as we want or do, whatever. So we'll be relying on the chat for some good color combinations. If you want to get first in line for color choices, make sure to super chat. And not only will you get your color, get to pick color choices, but you'll be helping support the show. So I appreciate it. So let's see here. Lots of people here already. That's good. A couple other little things before we get started. I don't have a whole lot of time today, so I know how much you guys love listening to me yap, but we're getting, the landlord is putting a new staircase up to our apartment today or tomorrow or something, and it's crazy. So we have to kind of clean some stuff up that we didn't think about. So I'm going to have to leave a little bit earlier than I usually do from the shop today, so we'll kind of get going. But tomorrow, I'm looking forward to it. We're already here. It's already here. Virtual Craft Day. The Virtual Maker Craft Festival thing is happening tomorrow. So if you don't know what that is like live streaming for like almost, well, not 24 hours, but a long time, like forever. It's kicking off tonight. So for folks that are, I'm just going to go with the U.S. Pacific Standard, or not Standard, Daylight Time times for this. You can convert it to your time zone. But Jamie Page is kicking it off tonight for us in the Pacific time zone of the U.S. He's starting at 2 a.m. So I realize it's pretty late for the folks that are in the U.S. But that's where it's kicking off. I'm going to give you guys a link to his channel. Right here, where am I at here? I'm going to put a link here. So this is to his his event. That's a direct thing to his first. He's the first one doing it, and I'm not entirely certain what he's actually going to be doing. But it basically, the schedule goes for every hour. It's going to be kind of like a relay race in a sense, where we're going to be handing the baton to other makers on YouTube. So you'll go over to Jamie's channel first. He'll be doing something for an hour, then he's going to hand it off. I'm not sure what the schedule is offhand. He'll hand it off to someone else. They'll do a demo for an hour on their channel, and so on until we actually then come into the morning for us in the U.S. And then I think the American demonstrators are going to be kind of like for me tomorrow. I don't know what the time zone difference is in the UK and all the other worlds. It's hard to talk about all that stuff. But anyway, so I'm going to be doing a demo at 3 p.m. Pacific time tomorrow. So kind of the normal time that I usually do live streams, except on a Saturday. I'm super excited about it. If you didn't see last Wednesday's stream, so what I'm going to be doing is I got a couple of blanks here, and I'm going to make a mallet. And I know that, a lot of people are like, why would you make a mallet out of resin? Why not? Because you can hit it with stuff and it'll probably be cool. But what I'm really excited about is I'm going to do some hand chased threads to connect the 2 pieces together. So I'm going to make a handle, I'm going to make kind of the head, and we're going to hand chase threads and it'll screw together. So I am definitely no expert. I'm a complete novice when it comes to chasing threads. However, I did do a test just to make sure that I could actually do this and get something that actually might work. I did it the first time and they screwed together. So it's not that hard. I'm not saying that they were amazing threads or anything like that. A little bit loosey-goosey, but it'll work. It'll screw together and you can tighten it up. So it's going to be pretty fun. I'm going to be trying to kind of get a few things kind of prepped and so that I can kind of get through it because I only have an hour to do all this stuff. But I think I can do it. The chasing of the threads doesn't really take that long. So it should be pretty fun. So 3 o'clock, and if I run out of time, whatever. But either way, there's no matter what happens with time tomorrow, the way that it works is you're going to turn one thing, or I will, and then we're going to chase threads on the first half. So definitely we'll get to see some turning and some thread chasing, and then hopefully I'll be able to get the handle done as well. Probably won't get it finished or anything like that, like sanded, but should be pretty cool. And then if you didn't see Wednesday's stream, I was playing around with friction polish. I've never really done that on turning things. I tried it like once or twice on pens. Didn't really see the point for pens. I think CA finishes, I just realized that CA finishes, if you can figure out how to do them, they're actually faster and they work better. They're more protection. So I just gave up on this. But I'm going to switch to this. I kind of switched my camera views around again. We're trying something different. You might notice it's pretty dull right here. I didn't really get it on very well on the end there, but the rest of it's not bad. And part of the reason that I was testing this, I know how to sand stuff, but what I'm trying to find is something that will produce a reasonable finish kind of fast so that I can get finishing done, not have to spend hours sanding stuff. In the past, really, I try to get like a perfect polish finish on stuff, and it just it's really tough to you got to spend the time, and rather than me try to hurry the process and get bad results, I'd rather see if I could find a different way that was pretty reasonable, maybe not as good as what I usually would do, but pretty good. So I don't know. I think that if you could get I think there's a little bit of technique to applying a polish, a friction polish like this. But I think if you can kind of figure that out, maybe not a bad choice. I have a feeling that I'm going to probably just switch. I'm probably just going to go with a spray finish to accomplish my goal. I think that's probably going to be a little bit easier. You still have to do a lot more work to the spray finishes usually, but at least it'll get me pretty close, and so that you guys can kind of see the project instead of watch me sand. So anyway, that's the news for today. Let me get all this stuff out of the way. Let me see what you guys are saying in the comments. And we will dunk some stuff. Looks like we got super chats already rolling in. Nice. Steve, Ray, Jeff, and who is, I don't know. Who's David? I think it's David. Let me know, what is your name? I forget that all the time. I'm sorry about that. So what do we got here? We got maroon. Ray needs to give me a color. We got blurple for Doug and Doug crazy purple. That'll be pretty interesting. Actually, that's a pretty interesting combination. I think we should do all of those on the first one. So let's see here. We got a lot of people here. I'm just going to scroll up a little bit so that we don't waste too much time. But I see that Doug is here, and Mark, Steve, and Beth, and Nancy. Alex is here. What's up, man? Mark. And Hodgepodge is here. What's up? Who else? Saint. How's it going? And Art's here. What's up, man? Sweet. Julie's here, too. Cool. David. I thought it was David. Okay. Is that Celtic? Is that what I remember? Celtic? You suck at that too. At remembering people? I'm not sure. Daffodils. No, I think that's Celtic for David. I don't know. Anyway, cool. Well, welcome guys. So the first one that we're gonna do, let's just knock out some pen blanks. The old standby. So I think what we're gonna do. Let me just kind of discuss how I think that we can just rip some of this stuff up and just shove it in there and then pour resin around it, because I mean I don't really think we're going to be trapping air pockets or anything like that. That's really more of a concern on solid stuff, like solid chunks. Like if you're going to put a bunch of wood in, and this may not even really be, I haven't really had too many problems with smaller like branch size things, but you know, if you put in a kind of a chunk of wood and the resin just can't get to it, you're going to get an air pocket. So I think that with this though, the resin should be able to easily flow around it. And we may, one of the nice things, even though a lot of times I will push things down into the resin, you know, the problem is you really mess up, you know, color swirls if you do that. So if it's possible, it's better to put the stuff in and then pour it on top, and then you actually get good kind of color mixing, swirling and all that stuff. So let me flip this to, so I don't know, let me, at some point, I may miss it, but maybe the moderators can kind of help me out. Let me know what you think about this view compared to, usually you're coming in kind of at a little bit of an angle. I can actually, and then there's this one. What is missing? Yeah, I probably won't use that. So that way you kind of have an angle for like the wide view, and then, but you're like kind of right overhead. So let me know what you guys think about that. So what I'm going to do here is we're just going to kind of rip off, I'm just ripping it out, and I'm just going to kind of just mash it down in there, you know. I think that there's not a lot of, you know, not a lot to it, I don't think. Just want to make sure that it's all kind of down in. But I still, even though I'm kind of mashing this all together, I still think we're fine with the resin kind of flowing around in this. We'll have to see maybe, you know, maybe, well, I think we're good. I think it'll be fine. Trying to get it somewhat evenly spaced in here somehow. There. I kind of like that, so I'm going to just toss this whole thing back in the oven because I don't want to touch it. Now, if you're in a really humid area, you might want to kind of warm this up. I don't know that I would recommend sticking a wad of this in your toaster oven. I don't think that would be a very good idea, but maybe you could use a heat gun or something like that. Maybe put it in something else and then put it in an oven. Just, you don't really want this. If this stuff contacted one of your heating elements, I mean, this stuff could easily light on fire. So I'm going to be very careful with this. It's not kind of puffing out. It's nowhere near. I have a pretty big oven, so I'm not that worried personally, but just be careful if you're doing that. But you might want to, you know, put a little bit of heat to this just to, you know, if there's any surface moisture. Just a thought. I don't know how big of a deal that would be really, but it could be. I don't worry about it because the humidity here is so small, so low, that it's just really not that big of a deal. All right, so Billy's here too. Sweet. Wow, we got Julie. Okay, so I'm gonna cut off. We're gonna do 4 colors. Let's see. We got Steve, Ray, Jeff, and David. You 4 are gonna do the pen blanks, and then we'll have Julie and David get in on the. We'll do the stopper handle blank thing next. You guys will be the first 2 in that one. So we got maroon. Let's see. Did we get? Did Ray pick a color? I'm scrolling up here. Antique gold. Okay, I found it. All right. So we got antique gold. I got that in the caster's choice. We got maroon. Okay. So what I'm going to do for maroon is let's try mixing cobalt blue with blood red. Let's give that a shot and see what we get. I think that should give us a kind of a maroon color. You could kind of go like with a little bit of blue and some black. So we'll have to see what it looks like in the cup, but that might be a good one. We got, let's see here, Blurple, and we have Doug Crazy. Here we go. Plum Crazy for the uninitiated. Kevin's here. What's up, man? And Ken's here too. Sweet. All right. Yeah, hair dryer might not be bad if you don't have a heat gun specifically. Yeah, so you guys can pick colors, but Julie and David Blaisdell are going to be in on the next one. So it's not that important for this round. All right, so I'm going to get my book out here. Got my book. Can you guys kind of see that? It's sticky. Yeah, a little bit of sticky. Hold on real quick. I don't want my I don't want my notebook to be stuck to this. Let me just wipe this up a little bit. All right, I think we're good. So number one, we're doing pen blanks. And what I write in here is I'm going to write down, what is that? I'm going to write down what mold I'm using. I just call that I'm going to call it 6 blank blue silicone. And we're going to use Alumilite Clear Slow Set. One little note that I was just watching Jake's video on Color Swirl. And one thing that I know that a lot of people kind of, especially that are very new to casting and Alumilite products. So Alumilite, he said Alumilite requires a scale, and that's not entirely accurate. Some of Alumilite's resins do require mixing or measuring by weight. Some of them require volume. So I just want to make sure, just give a little bit of a disclaimer. Make sure that you read the instructions for the resin that you buy. Because a lot of people get amazing clear cast and Alumilite clear slow or clear regular mixed up. If it says that you need to do it by volume, you want to get a graduated cup and do it, like 1 part to 1 part volume. If it's by weight, then you're going to need to use a scale. Okay, so just make sure, even if you think you know which resin you bought, just read the instructions real quick that came with it and just double check that. Otherwise, you can throw off the ratio and that's not good. All right, so pen blanks, and then let's see here. So that's going to probably take about 540 grams. Let's just make it 550 just in case. So we got, let's see, 4. What are we doing here? 4 colors, right? Yeah. We got these 2 are going together. So I'm just going to split it 4 ways. Let's see here, 550 divided by 4. Let's make it 560. We're gonna go with 560 grams just to make everything even. And then that's going to be 140 grams in each cup. Okay. And so when we mix, I'm just going to mix it all up in 1 cup. 560 divided by 2 is 280. Alumilite Clear is a 1-to-1 mix ratio, and you're going to measure it by weight. Alumilite Clear Slow Set. All right. So first color we got Blurple. For anybody that doesn't know what that is, it's blue to purple color shift powder. And this is the stuff that I sell on my website. I just call it Blurple because it's easier. And then we got Antique Gold. We got Plum Crazy, Doug Crazy. And we have Maroon, which I'm going to try Blood Red and Cobalt Blue. We'll just see what we get with that. I don't know. We can always adjust things. So I think what we'll do is about a half teaspoon of each one of these. With the Blurple, I think I'm also going to add a drop of purple dye. I like the way that looks a lot. And I think most of you guys do too. If you just add the color shift powder to clear resin, it'll work, but it really requires a dark background to work, and it'll look a little bit kind of milky instead of purple. Add a little bit of purple dye to it, or black, and it'll really pull out those blue to purple color shift colors. Ooh, Alex is in the game. Nice. Okay, so let's see here. I'm going to get a big cup to mix the majority of our resin. Just going to pull that out. It's pretty clean. So we got a quart mixing cup. You guys can kind of see up in the top corner there. Let's see if we can't. Let's see what that looks like. What does that look like? I think I'm going to. I'm going to do that, and right now we're going to go to this. We're going to give that the full view so you can kind of see what I'm doing. So I'm zeroing the scale out. I got my Alumilite clear here, and I'll just kind of give you, they've changed their label. I actually requested Alumilite send me some empty bottles with the new labels just so people can kind of recognize, you know, the new stuff. Haven't heard back on that. Hopefully I'll get that someday. So I've zeroed my scale, and what we're doing is 280 grams of part A and then 280 grams of part B. Just double check. Yep, that's 0. $235, 247, 280, right? Yeah. 273. We're sneaking up, guys. We're sneaking. We're creeping. Man, so the smoke over here has been nuts. There's fires, like the entire state of California is on fire. I heard, Gretchen told me that the governor, I don't keep an eye on news or anything, but supposedly the entire state of California is ready for evacuation. I heard the governor issued that. That's crazy. So, and it's just the wind usually blows over the mountains directly at us. So we have had some of the worst air quality conditions. I went running yesterday, and I wore my RZ mask, like full on, because it was, otherwise I would have died. It was crazy. I took it off once because I was sweaty, and it was just like I was literally in a campfire. It's been horrible, but it's been a little bit better today. But man, fires. All right, so 280 grams of part B, 270, 275, 278. We're getting there. Give it just a little bit more. Come on, there we go. Okay. Get me a mixing stick here. And I think at this point we can switch to this view. Oh, look at that. Overhead. I kind of need to move it up a little bit. Just a hair. How about that? It's a little bit better. It's kind of dark though. I don't know why it's so dark. So I'm mixing, I'm scraping the sides of the cup, the bottom really well. Basically, I have the stick on the bottom the whole time I'm mixing. You want to make sure that you get, you know, like all of the part A and part B mixed up. You don't want to have like a skin of part A on the cup, because what can happen is if there's little globules, little bits of part A or part B that haven't been mixed together, then it's just going to be a liquid thing in your blanks or in the casting, and you don't want that. All right, so I'm mixing until I see no more haziness. We should be good to go there. Yeah, we'll just use these cups. So I'm going to put 140 grams in each one of these cups. I'm just going to measure that off. You could just do it by eye if you want. It doesn't matter that much. If you want repeatable results, especially if you're, you know, measuring very specific colors or something like that, then I would recommend just, you know, weighing everything so you know exactly how much resin you used and how much powder and all that, whatever, you know, dyes. In this case, it doesn't matter that much. It's not that important really, but I just typically kind of do this. Do it this way. Oh. Okay. All right, so we got our cups. I'm going to get some stir sticks for each one of these guys. One thing that you can do, I know it's hot in the shop right now. If you're kind of low on time, so we're doing half teaspoon, yeah. So I got this is a 1/4 teaspoon. I don't know if you guys can really see. This is not the best camera angle. Now that I think about it, I'm gonna have to kind of move this a little bit to get everything. Let's try that. So I was using a 1/4 teaspoon thing. Got 2 scoops in there. We don't need half a teaspoon of Blurple. I'm just going to do a 1/4 teaspoon. That's actually way more than enough. And then I'm going to put a little bit of purple dye in there too. Just a drop. Don't need much. And let's see here, Plum Crazy. Get this going. Okay. And then we'll just do a 1/4 teaspoon of Cobalt Blue and a 1/4 teaspoon of Blood Red, and let's just see what that looks like. See what we get. So I'll put that over here. So we got some Cobalt Blue. You can do this with dyes. Also, you could add, I could add blue dye with Blood Red, or the opposite. You can kind of mix and match dyes and powders. To get custom colors. All right, so let's see what we get here. Kind of mix that in. Ooh, it's getting purpley. It's getting purpley. It's not too bad. That's a pretty good burgundy, I think, guys. Could be maybe a little darker. But I mean, that's pretty good. That's not too bad, huh? Little light, little on the light side of burgundy. Now, just to kind of accentuate or demonstrate, if I want this darker, I can add a very tiny bit of black dye. This is just Alumilite black dye. Very small amount. And that'll darken up right before our eyes. Oh, look at that. Now we're burgundy. Oh man, what do you think? Probably maybe could even go a little darker, but I'm not gonna push my luck. Not gonna do it. Okay, so let's get these guys mixed. Now, one thing to save a little bit of time with the heat, you could measure out, all of these powders and put them in the cups before you start pouring the resin in each one. That could kind of help you out a little bit. It may be a little bit, you may save a little time if you measured each cup individually. You could do part A in each cup and add your powder to the part A before you add the part B. You just got to make sure that you mix your colors quite well. I mean, mix your resin up, enough. I usually like mixing clear resin without anything in it, if possible, so that because you have that visual cue. If there's no trailing wispiness, that kind of tells you, at least definitely with Alumilite clear slow set or regular set, if there's nothing hazy and trailing around in there, then it's mixed well. Can't really tell once you put colors, powders and things in. You just got to kind of make sure you've given it enough time. All right, so we got our foursome of colors. This is going to be some crazy colors. Oh, do I got a little bit of, what is that? Oh, we got a little bit of piece of wood. That's like the second time that's happened. My stir sticks are falling apart on me. That's not good. We don't want wood shavings in there. Okay, so I have a feeling that we are probably ready to pour. So to keep the colors separated, you want to kind of pour at, wait till kind of the end of the working time is the best way to put it. The exact temperature will depend on the resin, it'll depend on the humidity, the temperature. The two main factors are what resin are you using and what the temperature is in your shop. Right now it's 83 in my shop, and I'm finding that if I pour colors at around 115, I'm usually pretty good, and we're at 115. So let's do this. Let's just kind of, going to kind of do a little bit of this, do a little bit of that. There's a billion different ways that you can pour your resins to get swirls and all this. If you're really trying to keep colors separated and you don't have stuff in it like this, then you're better off kind of trying to pour it carefully, I think is the best way to explain it. Don't just dump it and make it slosh around. Try and be, fairly easy with pouring it, like, the more it sloshes around, the more it can bleed together. In this case, I'm not that worried. I don't think, if you wait long enough, it really is kind of a lot harder for it to really bleed, is one thing, but also that it also has to do with how you're pouring it. So I didn't think about it that much, but I don't know how much is actually going to be down there. We're not filling this entire mold, so I might kind of try to push some of this stuff down in. This is why we experiment, because you don't necessarily think about certain things the first time you try something. Then you figure it out, you learn, and the next time you do it better. And you should really make sure that you have a notebook. Make sure to keep notes. I don't know if I can, yeah, that's not really working. So I'm not going to mess with this. We might have to learn a lesson on this one and do better next time. So I'm going to toss a flat thing down there, and then we're going to pop this in the pressure pot. And we're going to pressurize this guy to 70 psi. I don't know if you guys can see what's going on over here, but here I am. So I'm using CA Technologies pressure pots. They are good up to 80 psi. You don't want to go over that. So make sure you're not exceeding the psi for your pressure pot. A couple of pretty much most of the other pots, I wouldn't really go over 50 in most of them. The Harbor Freight, the TCP, they claim it's 90. That's not true, because I actually called them, and I wouldn't go too much over maybe 60 and one, something like that. So just make sure you understand, And if you don't trust what the sticker says, call the manufacturer. Don't hesitate to do that. I didn't believe TCP pots could handle 90, even though that's what they say on their website. And so I ended up calling them, and I said, what's the max PSI in these? I'm going to be using it for resin casting. Can I go to 90? Is that okay? And the guy, literally the technician, the guy on the phone, just started laughing. He's like, I wouldn't go over 30. So he obviously doesn't know what we're doing with them. But that told me that I'd rather just stick with CA Technologies pots. They know exactly what we're doing. They understand there's people resin casting with them. Things might have changed nowadays with TCP, but that was, a few years ago. And you can't always trust the sticker. So make sure you're safe with pressure pots. You don't want to get them, if you over pressurize a pressure pot, then it becomes dangerous. So stay within the limits. I don't even take mine up to 80 personally, because I'm kind of risk averse. I'm standing next to them all day. I got 4 of them, so I'm kind of like, I'll just kind of keep things, chill. So my personal rule of thumb is I stay 10 psi below whatever the manufacturer's high, maximum is. Other people have different ways of doing things, but it's up to you guys for safety in your shop. All right, so, oh man, we got things going off. Actually, real quick, I need to crack this pressure pot and it's gonna be really loud. I got something in here that needs to come out. So let me mute you guys and we'll get this going. So let me, before I do that, let's see, we got three. We got Julie, David, and Alejandro. Mr. Alex, did we get, I think David had a color, but I don't know what it was. So if you can remind me, David, what color do you want? And Julie too, I didn't see. Oh, I see, thanks Doug. Midnight purple, blue, and apple green. So who had midnight purple? And who had blue? I just want to make sure, I just want to know who picked which colors. So we'll be kind of, so again, we're going to be doing it with this guy. This one will be a little bit easier. Let's actually do this before we, I put you guys on mute. Well, I'll do this while I'm muting. I'll rip it up and kind of put it in, but it'll be a little bit easier now that I'm a little bit smarter on this. I'm going to know what we're filling and keep my head in the game. Make sure that we got a good amount of that stuff in the mold in an area that's going to be usable. In that other mold, it was deeper than, I was only shooting for like an inch deep pour, and I didn't think about that. So this one will be definitely whatever's in there is good. So let's see here. Yeah, I don't like I don't like the Harbor Freight pots. Those clamps are so horrible. It's just not worth the extra couple bucks that you're saving. Like the TCP pots are really nice actually, and that's why I was kind of like, when that guy told me he wouldn't go over 30, I was like, well, that's ridiculous. These are way better than the Harbor Freight pots, but I don't, you know, where is the limit? That's the tough thing. I don't think it's 90, because I think CA Technologies pots are better built than TCP. But so I think that you're probably safe, you know, probably up to like 60 or so in a TCP pot. But it just, when a company doesn't know what you're doing and doesn't stand behind the product, I'm not using it. It just, there's no way. You know, for me personally. But yeah, the Harbor Freights are the worst. Most of the other ones are pretty good. The California California Air. See, this always gets people confused. This is C.A. Technologies. That's what I use. And then there's also California Air Tools. Those ones are pretty good too. They're fine. And then if you want like a bulletproof, you know, the best pot on the planet that has the ASME rating as well. That's like they're tested so that they're guaranteed not to fail at whatever pressure. Binks pots are great, but man, they are like twice as much as like everything else on the market. Yeah, CA Tech pots are pretty nice. Or is it California or CA Tech? All right, yeah, and Paul's in. We can get you in on this one too. All right, so while we're, let's see, did it say? Okay, David had the blue. Okay, cool. Sweet. All right, so I'm going to put you guys on mute real quick, and while I'm muting and cracking this pot, I'm going to stuff the stuff in that mold on the camera. So let's switch to this view. Yeah, actually I can just do this one. And mute. Okay, so we got that cracked. You guys saw me sticking that in there. Whoops, wrong view. And I don't mean to be alarming with the talk about safety, but it is an issue. You need to make sure you're not going over. I don't really think, I do know people that have had problems with the Harbor Freight pots. However, the people that I know of that had problems were going way higher than the sticker said. So, you know, it's kind of common sense. Keep it, you know, within limits. For most people, I know tons of people who have Harbor Freight pots, have had them for 10 years, 15, 20. And as long as, like, generally most people don't go over 50 PSI in them. And if you do that, and you know, and keep an eye on it, because over extended use, this was my biggest problem with Harbor Freight, is I think they work fine, but I'm doing a lot of casting, right? And so how many years is it going to take for this thing to, like, wear out? And when they wear out, that's when there's a problem. So just make sure there's no, you know, cracking or anything weird going on with your lid or anything like that. Just make sure everything's in good shape and stay within the limits, and you're fine. And you know, the Harbor Freight pots are a good deal. You get the 20% off coupon. I think I want to say they're like $100. So then 20% off, like, you can get a pressure pot for $80. Like, you know, you're in the game, especially if you're on a budget. But if you got the money, I would probably recommend getting something a little bit better, because there's just a little bit more quality goes a long way with this stuff. What is going on here? I got sticky stuff all over the place. Hold on. So we got, I think it was Sapphire Blue. We're going to cut this one at Paul. So Joe's going to be in on the next one, which is going to be, so we got plenty of material left. So Joe's going to be the first color, and we're going to do a big 3-inch guy on the next one. So Joe will be the first color on that. We'll just keep it with 4 colors on this one. That ought to be plenty. It's actually pretty warm in here, and it takes a little bit of time to get things going. So real quick, I'm going to switch to this double view here, that one, so you can kind of see what I'm doing up there in the corner. I just need to put these guys away so that I'm not driving myself nuts. Just a little OCD, that's all. Okay, so we got apple green, we have midnight purple. Let me scroll up, let's see here. Sapphire blue. Where was it? Just a little farther up. Midnight purple, apple green, and then, so Paul was a blue. Let's see, so sapphire, and so we got 2 different blues. So why don't we do I don't have something that's, oh, I do have sapphire blue. I have a sapphire blue. Go figure. So I got that. What does this look like? It's kind of like paradise blue. So let's do, what do you guys think about adding a dye in the mix? You could do this blue with a sapphire blue. Ooh, Doug's in the game with antique copper. Nice. Out of curiosity, do I sell acrylic pen blanks? Yes, I do. I'm not sure if you'll like the prices, but yeah, I do. On my website, I have a ton of pen blanks. Most of them are actually pretty reasonable and similar to everybody else that sells blanks. Some of the unique ones that we like make on the show, and different stuff that have, like, you know, burls and more difficult things like that to make, they get a little bit more expensive, but most of my color swirls are about $10 in that area. So there's my website. You'll see all the stuff there. Let's see here. Mert's here. What's up, man? Yeah, and definitely keep your... Michael Barr's here. What's up, dude? How's it going, man? And Levi's here too. Wow, everybody's here. Let's see. Did I? Shoot. Did I see who was? Yeah, they're not that expensive. Some of them are a little bit more expensive though. Okay, so unless I see somebody call my name out, we're going to go with these 2 blues. We need midnight purple and apple green. Midnight purple. I'm okay. All right, so we got all of our colors here. I don't know. We'll see. We'll add a little bit of that dye. That'll be kind of fun. Get my gloves on. and then we'll get the book out and we'll write down our notes here. All right. Not sticky. All right, so I had to move over to this side. So number 2, we're doing handle. I'm just going to call it a handle blank. We're using my 2-inch blue silicone mold. I forget how much that holds. I'm going to just estimate. We're using slow set clear Alumilite. I want to say it holds like 450. That might be a little bit over, but we're just going to go with that. And so let's see here, 225, is that? No, that's a timer. That's not a calculator. Yeah, 225. Mental math. So 225 times 2. Alumilite clear is a 1-to-1 mix ratio. All right, so we got 4 colors. We're going to mix them. Let's see, 450 divided by 4 is probably not going to be even. So we're looking at around 112 grams each. And we got apple green. Oh, can't spell apple green. We have sapphire blue. We have lagoon blue. Let's see here. No, I'm not out of. So there's the short runs are the ones that I may or may not keep more in stock. Those are like the expensive ones and the unique ones. If you just look at pen blanks, go to the menu at the top or the middle picture, resin cast pen blanks. I'm not out of anything in there. Those are like the color swirl blanks. I have a lot of different ones. Let's see here. Blue is always right. Oh, Old Salty might have missed it. That's cool though. Let's see here. Just making sure that I'm not missing it. Nobody had any complaints. I haven't done hydro dipping before. I don't think there was a problem. So I think we're good to go on these colors. All right, I just wanted to make sure before I wrote them down. We got apple green sapphire. We got midnight purple. All right. Took forever to write that down. Sorry. Okay, so we got 4 colors. And what we're going to do, let's see, 112. I think we could probably just get away with a 1/4 teaspoon is plenty on all these powders anyway. And then for the lagoon blue, we're going to put 2%. And that's the way that I do this. It's just the way that Alumilite kind of I don't know, how I learned to do things. It's not the right way or anything like that. It's just how I do it. I would put 2% factored against the part A, like so half the resin. So 2% of about 60 is 0.1 or 1.2, I think, right? Yeah, 1.2 grams of lagoon blue. So however it makes sense, I'm putting 1.2 grams of lagoon blue dye into 112 grams of resin. It gets, I understand, it gets very confusing with the part A half thing. The thing is, you need to know numbers though. The way that dyes work with most of the resins out there, definitely Alumilite clear, you can't put more than 5% factored against the part A. So 5% factored against half of the amount of resin in the cup. If you go over that, then you can have some problems with curing. So the other way to look at that, if you want to just look at the whole cup, 112 grams in this case, you don't want more than 2.5% factored against all of it, or 5% factored against half of it. Okay, I know it's very confusing and it confuses me sometimes. The way that I think about resins and dyes, I just think of that part A thing with my percentages, and that keeps me straight. Okay, all right, good to go. One thing to note with the Divine Pigments, you want to make sure that you shake these guys up. Shake, shake, shake. because it's larger particles that can kind of settle out in there. So make sure you shake it up. Most of the Alumilite dyes, you do not really have to worry about that. They are super fine particle dyes that do not come out of suspension. With Alumilite's brand of dyes, the only ones that you really need to worry about are black, white, and fluorescence. I don't think there are any others in their line that matter. Because all the other ones are transparent, basically, and just dyes, not pigment based. Okay, so let's see here. We need a big cup. Let's get a big cup here. Oh my God. Oh, getting crazy. Getting crazy around here. I'm gonna kind of clean the sides of this cup out. It's little chunkies and stuff. Sorry if that was loud. It was loud in my ear too. Okay, here we go. So I'm gonna switch to this work area camera view so you can kind of see a bigger picture of what I'm doing over here. Let's see what's going on in the chat. What's Billy doing? Feed my dogs too, yeah. Nice. Cool, okay. Sorry, I was reading the chat. I get wrapped up in the chat. So who's excited about tomorrow? That's going to be awesome. And it's actually starting before tomorrow. It's not even 24 hours until we get the virtual live maker event. It's going to be fun. It's pretty cool. I'm excited to see some of the new people, like new to me. Like I didn't know about them. There's a few of them. I forget her name now. Let's see, Heidi. I want to say Heidi. She's new to me. Yeah, Heidi Jacobs. She does pottery. How fun is that? Pretty sweet. Anyway, I just wanted to see who's excited about that. Oh no! You gotta like hide your phone and just log in and try to keep up. Get a little bit of your fill. That's too bad if you have to work, man. But I think everybody's going to probably keep the replays up. Mine will, for sure. I would imagine Jamie and Carl will. I don't know about some of the other people. But most likely, if you miss the live, you'll be able to go back and at least watch the demos. Okay, so we need, where's my thing? Where's my book? Let's put that in the note area. 225 times 2. So I've zeroed my cup out. So 225 grams of part A. I lost count. I usually estimate when I'm pumping, I put 30 grams to a pump. That's more. It'll pump out less than 30 grams, but that way I don't go over. So when I'm counting, it's like 30, 60, 90. That's kind of what I'm doing, just to kind of let you guys know. 225. So hold on, I gotta focus on what I'm doing here. Let's see where we're at now. Getting there. 217. 222. Ooh. We're sneaking. 24. Oh man, 224.8. Ah, there we go, 225. Okay, and then zeroed out and let's see where we're at here. 208, 217, 222, 3, 224.5. Should I be there right now? 225, there we go. Okay, so we'll switch to this view now. Casting. Yeah, no, my light's not really getting me either, I don't think. Not stupendously. Hopefully that helps a little bit. figure out where. There we go. Sticky stuff all over the desk. Yeah, most of the time. My job kind of could be, I guess, because I know a lot of you guys are doing stuff in the shop. The problem is I'm not conducive to doing two things at once. Like I can't even really listen to an audio podcast while I'm working because basically I'm just not listening to the podcast. And so that's why I don't do, live stuff. I don't like watch a lot of the live things because, when I'm at the shop, I'm trying to get work done and I just can't do, I got to do one thing at a time. It works that way for me. I can listen to music, and a lot of people, I know a lot of people really like videos that have no music at all. And part of the reason that I kind of like putting music to videos because I like music, but the other problem is I have music playing while I'm, making videos, while I'm doing stuff in here. And so I have to put something else over it or just be silent because I get copyright violations all the time from the music playing in the background. Okay, so let's see here. We need 3 cups. I think I can do, we can do smaller cups this time. Kind of do that. Okay, I'm going to work over on this little corner here. So this time I'm just going to fill one with 112. So each one's going to, let me just 112 grams in each cup total. And so I filled this one to 112. This one is kind of important. I need an accurate 112 to make sure that my dye amount, if I wanted to repeat it, it's the same. These other two aren't that important. It's just going to be some powders. So I'm just going to kind of wing it and just look at this and be like, okay, that's good enough and it's close. Because it's not that important, like I said. So there's different things, but you want to be accurate if you're trying to get, specific things with dyes and things. You don't want to be too wildly off with powders either, I guess, but for the most part, if you're just going for, if you're just going for, opaque colors, then you just need to load up a lot of powder. So it's not that important to get, it's always going to be the same. So I'm putting 1.2 grams in here of the Lagoon Blue. 1.1, yep, oh, it's going back and forth. Okay, 1.2, I think, should be. It was teasing me. Okay, that ought to be good. 1.2. I'll get this guy mixed in. This will be kind of interesting with one dye color and the rest being pearly. So I already had my stuff there. So a 1/4 teaspoon of Sapphire Blue. Okay. Wipe off my spoon. 1/4 teaspoon of green apple. This will be a pretty cool color combo. And a 1/4 teaspoon of midnight purple. Here's our full cup, big cup. I'll close these so I don't get resin in them. And midnight purple. Midnight purple is one of my favorites. I like it. Okay, wipe the spoon. Let's get these guys mixed in. Get that covered so I don't spill it. Get some sticks. Sometimes I like to kind of break up the powder a little bit. Sometimes it'll stir in a little bit quicker. It's not just a big clump. All right. Apple green. and Midnight Purple. The great idea is that like kind of breaking it up in the cup before you start mixing. Sometimes kind of helps out. Sometimes, and I don't know that it has to do with the mica powder itself. Some of them are a little bit kind of clumpier. Micro pearl interference powders are usually a little bit kind of clumpy. They're just so fine and they're like powdered sugar, so they help to kind of break up a little bit. But sometimes I think sometimes they may get a little bit of moisture in them, and they're a little clumpier. I don't know, but I usually like to kind of break them up a little bit. Hopefully that's what you're talking about. Okay, so we got our colors. I don't know what temperature we're at. Like I said, about 110 to 15 or so. So we're at about 108 in that cup. This one might be a little lower than that. Yeah, 107. We stirred it all up at the same time, so they should be pretty close. That's at about 109. I think that I'm going to call that pretty good. I just want to make sure that these kind of flow down in. 115 was a little bit thicker, which is great for just pouring color swirl blanks, and there's nothing there's nothing else in the mold, but you have to kind of balance out. We want this to flow around this paper stuff, so in that case, thinner generally is kind of a better idea. Balance that with keeping the colors from bleeding, So we'll start pouring just a little bit earlier on this one, just to make sure everything's good to go. I don't think there was a problem on the last one really, but the other thing is it takes a little bit of time to actually pour each one of these, right? And so sometimes if you have a lot of colors, you may kind of need to start pouring a little bit earlier than you normally would have, just because by the time you're done, it's going to start getting really thick. Okay, one more round and we'll have this wrapped up. All right, there we have it. I'm gonna pop open this pressure pot here. I'll switch this camera view over to there, switch this to there, and I'm gonna put, let's see here, somebody sent me these little things that you can stick in your pressure pot, and that'll come in handy for that. You can also use one of the racks. I don't really need to use a rack on this, but either way, one of the main things, I guess, actually a good tip, if you're using a silicone mold, pressure pots generally have some sort of dishing. Most of them actually are extremely dished in the bottom. And when you pressurize a silicone mold, if you just stuck it in the pressure pot on that dish, it would conform to that because you're pressurizing it. So I learned that. I was like, why are my blanks like banana shaped? And then I realized it's because you're pressurizing it and it conforms to the bottom of it. So if you're putting, softer type molds, silicone, make sure that you've got a flat surface in your pressure pot that it's sitting on. Otherwise you'll get banana blanks, and you don't want that. Nobody wants banana blanks. Well, maybe somebody does, but I don't. I don't like that. All right, so I'm just gonna, I like to wipe off my stir stick while I can. Oh, I just stuck my finger right in the resin, of course. I always do that. If you get resin on your skin, the best thing to do is to wash it with soap and water. I'm not gonna run all the way to the front of the shop. I'm just gonna use a little bit of acetone to quickly do that. The problem with doing that is it technically can kind of work it more into your skin, but at least it won't be sticky. Other than that, if you're just trying to clean up a spill with resin, acetone or denatured alcohol will do the job nicely. Okay, so let's see here. We got the last one. We're going to do a 3-inch PVC pipe. These are great for lots of different things. You can make spheres with these. You could make a lidded box. It's like a really good size for that. I have a couple examples that I made these to, I have mallets in mind for these. And these are just kind of like, I just tossed some stabilized burl, little chunks, cut-offs. So you can do lots of different stuff, and I just made some little 1.5-inch pipes as well to kind of match these guys. So you could make a mallet, you could do all kinds of different things. You can make an extremely large gear shift knob or bottle stopper. I don't know, what else would you make with a 3-inch PVC pipe? I'm not 100% sure. I've done a whole lot different than that. I don't know, there's lots of different things. So first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna spray this PVC pipe. So let me see, I'm gonna do this camera and I'm just gonna kinda, hold on guys. It's gonna get wobbly for a sec. I'm gonna just do that, I think. It's not the greatest view ever, but that's not a very good view at all. Hold on. How about this? I think I'm going to do this. We'll have to see if this thing decides to focus or not. Hopefully it will. So I'm using Stoner mold release. And you don't want to like glob it on where it's dripping out, but you want to make sure that you get all the surfaces. That ought to be good. And we'll come back around here. And then what I'm going to use to plug it, you can get these at Turner's Warehouse, turnerswarehouse.com. What I'm going to do is I'm going to blow this off. There's some like dust stuff on it. I'm just going to take the air hose to it. If you need to wash, like clean off things that are silicone, whether it be like a mold or one of these, denatured alcohol is what you want to use. I wouldn't recommend using acetone. It can kind of harm the silicone. And then at this point, we just push it in there. These things are the greatest inventions ever. And they've got sizes from like 1/2 inch for for PVC pipes, 3/4, 1 inch, 1 1/4, like 1 1/2, like every size up to 4 inch. And they work really good. They hold well. It's always a good idea to, if you're going to have to pick this up, you might want to think about putting it on a flat surface or something like that. So, but I've never had one just drop, like come out. They stick to the walls pretty well. I suppose if you had a really big one, that's where you might run into a problem. But let me get this camera fixed again, and then we'll start going here. So I know we got some colors going already, and I'm gonna have to see what we got. Let's see what colors we got here. Okay, so emerald green. So who do we have? We got Joe and we got Doug. Okay, so Joe wants emerald green. Doug wants antique copper. So we got emerald green. And we got antique copper for Doug. I'm going to put these guys away while I'm staring at them. Okay, and midnight purple goes away. Do we have any others? Let's see here. Where's my Dramamine? Yep. Tack hammer, yeah. You ever use masks when missed. No, as long as you're in a well-ventilated area. We have fans going and air's moving in here. I know that some people have a pretty small workspace. The other thing, we have high ceilings. Like I said, we have gigantic fans in the ceiling of our entire shop that moves. Now I have plastic kind of covering my shop, but there are some areas where air can kind of move through. So I have relatively decent, air movement in here. I also have a fan on behind me. If you're in an area that's, like a 10 by 10 room or something like that, that's enclosed, no windows open, no fans, you definitely want to wear a respirator at that point. I know that, especially if like epoxy tumbler people, I mean, if your face is really, if you're really close to the resin the whole time, yes, definitely protect yourself. But for the most part, I don't really find that, Alumilite doesn't bother me. However, you can develop an allergy. So if you want to stay completely, absolutely 100% safe and never, run into that issue, then you would want to, make sure that all of your skin is, there's nothing exposed that can get resin on it, and you're wearing a respirator at all times. That is the safest way to go, and eye protection as well. For the most part, I'll put eye protection on if I'm mixing, but I usually don't wear a mask. Sometimes I may, but I usually don't find it necessary. Hopefully that won't bite me in the butt later, but I think we're good. Jen picks a color. Uh-oh. We got two. So we got Pixie wants clear. That's interesting. I like that. And we got Jen, but we also got David. Oh man, things are getting crazy. I think Jen just gets to pick two. Why not? So we got clear. So let me start writing our numbers, our notes, I should say. Switch this to this. I'm just going to switch to this view. I'm going to get something to write on because I'm pretty sure at this point I've got stickiness all over the place. Okay, so number 3. We're doing 3-inch PVC. 3-inch PVC. And slow set clear. So let's see here. I think this takes, I want to say 600, 700 maybe to fill it. I don't know. I just poured those other ones, so let me look those up. That's why I have a notebook, guys. So I can look up these things and be like, oh, we need, I guess I used 600 grams for those. I think that's enough for this one. 600 will do. So one thing to keep in mind is this plug is also going to, it goes, there's like a good 3/4 inch that it's taking up inside the PVC pipe. So you lose that. So make sure to factor that in if you're cutting PVC pipes to a certain size. So 600 grams. And we got, let's see, I don't know how many colors we got now. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 colors. Old Salty, you're back. So I don't know if you heard me. I was saying that I think you might be looking at, so the short runs pen blanks, those are the ones that I just make, for fun, or I just come up with stuff. They have hybrid stuff, but I'm not necessarily going to keep them in stock. And then the resin cast pen blanks, so on my homepage, the middle picture, that's all the stuff that I keep in stock. And so I'm not out of stock in any of those. I keep those up to date. I don't sell acrylic bowl blanks. Sometimes I do. They're a little bit harder. Those ones are expensive. They're harder to sell. Yeah, I have pink mica. Let's see here. But we need to, let's see, what's the deal here? So we got, Jen wants glitter too. Oh man. Well, we can do, okay, so let's see. Yeah, I mean, we could do red and a glitter sparkle. Okay, so here we go. So what do we have here? We've got emerald green, antique copper, clear. We have, and then blood red. Okay, and then it's blood red. And then a glittery color. Well, I have I got some metal flakes. I've got purple metal flake. I got like a midnight blue, and I have a teal. So how about one of those? Or do you want me to just add glitter? Because I also have glitter. Glitter to the clear part. Let's see here. So, do you want to see? Do you want me to add micro starlight or starlight glitter? I could do that. I know there's so many options. It's tough. So I got micro starlight and starlight glitter. Whoop, almost lost it. I could do that to the clear. That could be fun. Oh, okay, the purple glitters, woo! Yeah, these are pretty fun. I get these at Paint with Pearl. They got all kinds. And realistically, you can get them. Just look up metal flake, and a lot of times it'll be with like auto body painting stuff. There's a ton of different places that have that. Okay, so we sprayed our thing. I'm just gonna kind of. I think we want this to be a little bit, I don't want to jam this like super packed, I don't think. I think that's going to kind of not be as fun. So I'm thinking that we'll just kind of rip this right here. And I think that might, like I want it to be kind of open, you know what I mean? So like kind of maybe like that or something. Maybe kind of crinkle it into the middle. I don't know. I'm actually thinking I'm going to rip a little bit more of this away. Just trying to kind of thin this out a little bit. Okay. I think that's going to do it. I think that's going to be cool. Okay. So, since we're doing clear in this, I think we're going to do a lot of clear. Okay, so I think that's probably maybe the best way to do this. What we're going to do, here's the game plan, guys. What I'm going to do is we're going to mix up, like it's going to be the majority is going to be clear resin with the, I guess with some of the purple glitter in that. And then what I'm going to do is we're going to dump colors over. But what I'm going to do is we're going to mix up, we're going to pour in about half the clear first. And then I'm going to dump colors. And then we're going to pour more. And that, I know that may kind of mix things up, but let's just see how that does. The problem is you can't, unless I was using a syringe or something like that, it gets kind of messy. So let's just see what happens with that. All right, so we need 300 grams. What I'm going to do is 300 times 2. I'm going to add a little extra part B. That seems to help make sure that you get a very clear mix with Alumilite Clear. Only this resin that I'm using. Don't do this with anything else. So we're going to do clear is going to be like... let's do 60% is going to be just clear resin with the purple metal flake. And then we got emerald green. We got blood red. And we got antique copper. And we're just going to split those equally. We're going to add, let's see here. So what do we have left? Where's my calculator? Let's do some math. So 600 times 0.6 is 360 is going to be clear. So we got 240 left. We're going to divide that by 3. So each one of these is going to be 80 grams. Kind of screwed my notes up on that one, but that's okay. So we'll just put probably an 1/8 teaspoon. Should be enough of each of those. All right, so I think we got a plan, guys. We got a plan. Flip cup. Not really. There's no way to flip it into this vessel. And that's not really going to work so well with the clear part. All right, so we got, let's see, I'm going to get a little, I like to put this on a little flat thing. So we got that ready to rock. Let's get a cup. I'm going to get a brand new cup because we got parts that are going to be clear and I just don't want to mess around trying to clean up a cup right now. So let's switch to the work view. Yep, I got Pink Floyd blanks. I don't do custom orders, old salty. Just not enough time. It's tough to keep up with inventory and streams and videos and all the stuff that I'm doing. So I don't really do that too often. Every once in a while I do, but right now I definitely can't. All right, so we got 300 grams. I got to get some gloves on first. That's what I need to do. Let's get some gloves on. And let's do this. Dogs are getting into mischief. Oh no. Oh man. Okay, so zero the scale out. Let's get our part A out. Then we need 300. That doesn't seem very clean. That's weird. That's not a clean cup. We're going to put that aside. I'm going to go get a clean cup. That one's clean. This one's clean. Sorry, guys. Redo. Should have looked at that a little bit closer. Oh. Yeah. So 300. Okay, let's see where we're at here. 288, 297, ooh, 299. Are you out of your mind? Okay, 300.1, good enough. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add 302 grams of part B to this. Again, this only applies to this resin, Alumilite Clear Slow or Alumilite Clear Regular. This does not, do not do this with any epoxy. You don't want more, you don't want to mess that up. Just, this is just a tip for this resin. All right, so I've zeroed it out. And the reason that is all it's doing is if you ended up, for some reason, if somehow you ended up with more part A in the mix than part B, Alumilite Clear can turn out kind of cloudy. And I've just found testing things out, if you just add a little extra part B, it gives you a little bit of peace of mind, number one. But it does tend to make it pretty clear. It's never been bad. You know, it's never turned out bad. And you're not altering the amount by something significant. You don't want to be adding an extra gram to, you know, if you're only mixing up 30 grams, but 600, I'm adding an extra gram or two. That's not really going to affect the ratio, but it is going to just give me a little bit of peace of mind, and I find that it does keep things nice and clear. But you don't really want to be altering, you know, you got to watch what you're doing with other things. I actually got myself into trouble because thinking that that was a brilliant idea, I was doing that with liquid diamonds, epoxy, and I was getting problems. They would turn out soft. And I think that was probably the reason. You don't want to add more hardener than resin, or you don't want to alter the ratio. You don't want to, have a little bit more than you should. Let's just say it was like a 1-to-1 ratio with epoxy. You don't want more hardener in epoxy. It'll make it soft, which doesn't make any sense to me in my mind. But that's what happens with epoxies. If the ratio, whatever it may be, if the ratio, the hardener part that you put in, if you put too much in, it'll end up making your blanks soft. Eventually, they usually will harden up, but not really what most people want, So just try to make sure. I think overall, the thing is you want to make sure that you're getting things accurate. Do it as accurate as possible, and you'll be good to go. Okay, so we got 3 colors. I got my purple. I'm going to put that to the side because we need to dump out some of this resin. So we need how many grams? 80 grams in each one of these cups. I'm just going to kind of estimate this. I'm going to do 1 and actually go to 80, and then we'll just kind of wing it because it's not that important to get it perfect. Okay, so I got to switch camera views here. Okay, so we got our example cup. We got 2 more. So I'm just going to fill these until they're about, well, I went a little over on that one. Got a little excited there, guys. It's not that big of a deal, but let's be reasonable about this. Okay, now we're not going to add too much of this purple. We don't want it to be super, super saturated. So what I'm going to do is we're going to add an 1/8 teaspoon at a time and just kind of see what it looks like. Oh, that one's not open. Hold on. I have another one that's open. Yep, there it is. I got an open one. Look at these sparkles. So let's add an 1/8 teaspoon, mix it in, and see what we get. Okay. That's pretty good, I think. Keep in mind, we're going to have a pretty thick blank. All we want to add is a little bit of sparkle to it, I think. So I think that's going to be good, actually. I'm going to call that quits. A lot of times with glitters, you don't really need to add a ton of it. It's not, that's not necessarily the effect that you want with it. Okay, so we got that. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually pour this in now, half of it, because that was the game plan. So let's pour half of this in. It's not going to make any difference if we pour it now or later. Okay. And then let's see here, 1/8 teaspoon of all of these colors. So we got emerald green. Let's see, you guys can't see anything, can you? Anymore. Yeah, I really got to do something about these cameras. Right, 1/8 teaspoon, yep. 1/8 teaspoon of emerald green. You could just use like popsicle stick things, that could work. I know a lot of people use just a popsicle stick scoop, but it's really not very, like if you really are trying to go for very specific things, then these little measuring spoons are the best way to go. They're the most accurate way. A lot of times it doesn't need that level of accuracy though. And then we got some blood red, 1/8 teaspoon of that. Okay, that's all clean. Get this covered. These things out of the way. Okay, so let's get our popsicle sticks here. Mix it, mix it, mix it. Okay. So what I'm going to do is we're going to dump each of these. We're going to dump a little bit of this. Then we're going to dump the rest of that clear with the glitter in. And then we'll do another round. Now, I think it's probably going to mix it up a little bit, but this is going to kind of strain it, that stuff. So it's not going to be as bad as if I just dumped, you know, if we were just dumping resin in a PVC pipe. Deeper pours, it gets a little bit tougher to pour lots of different colors together because gravity and everything, it just kind of mixes things, sloshes things around. So let me see what temperature we're at. We'll probably throw these guys in at, I think we'll be good at like 110, 112. We're at like 109 right now. 110, 11. Yeah, we're good. 113. So let's dump. I hope that thing is in the way. Let me just get this stupid thing out of the way. There we go. All right, so we did about half of each one of those. It's looking kind of interesting. And then I'm gonna kind of a little bit more carefully kind of pour this. Okay. And then a little bit of this. All right, we got it. What do you guys think about that? Get my hand out of the way. I don't know, kind of interesting. We got lots of different things going on. Let me look at this. Yeah. I think that's going to be kind of cool. All right, so, shoot, I got to get this out of here because we need to put it in this pressure pot. Ah! Remember the one that I cracked? Open, open, hurry up. We're okay. I'm not that worried. Drop that guy in there. Put that there. I'm going to switch to that other view so you guys can kind of see what I'm doing here. All right. Pretty fun. This was a pretty good one. We get some different food things, services sent to us. We get, like, if you guys have ever ordered have you seen the butcher box thing? We get that, man, I gotta be honest, sometimes they send us the wrong stuff, and so there's some issues, but it is pretty good meat. So like that's something that we get that material from. My wife orders things from a thing called Freshly also. So like things like that, but they come in a lot of different types of packages. But I've just noticed it a lot in things that are food service type things. So I don't know, we'll have to see how these turn out, but I mean, it doesn't get much easier than just shoving some like packing material paper in a mold and pouring resin on it, you know? And hopefully if these things turn out pretty good, you know, I'm thinking that because it's all kind of weird holes and, you know, different kind of angles, hopefully the blanks will look pretty good. You know, simple things like that end up being some of the best blanks, just, you know, because of the patterning in things. So we got a little bit left over. We'll have to I'm going to put this aside. We'll save it, especially after we get some results with these and see how they turned out. We may realize like, oh, you know, I did it this way. It would be better if we did it this way. So sometimes the first experiment you learn a lot of lessons, and then the next time you're like, okay, I know exactly how to do this and how to get some really cool looking blanks. But I think they're going to turn out pretty good. So huge thank you to everybody for all the amazing super chats. Thank you guys for participating and enjoying stuff. Let me, I got a few more minutes here. I was going to be kind of quick tonight, but I think that my landlord can just deal with whenever we get to cleaning out under our staircase. Yeah, I got a watch stand. I run with my Apple Watch. So let me stop real quick and see if there's any questions while we got a few minutes here on the clock. Let's see here. New recycling. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I think they're going to look pretty good. I don't know. Let's see here. Yeah, dinner's starting to sound good already too. What happened, Doug? What did I miss? What did I miss? What's happening, Doug? Oh, that's not cool. So if anybody has any questions, let me know. Otherwise, we will get going. So again, don't forget, tomorrow we're going to be doing, well, it starts at 2 a.m. Pacific time for people in the U.S. I don't know what time that is exactly offhand, UK time. But we're doing the maker event, the craft, what is it called? The Virtual Craft Festival. So here's a link to the website that has all the times and all the goodies and everybody that's doing it. Where am I at here? There's just the general website. It has like a list of all the people and the times that they're doing it. Here is a link to Jamie Page's. Most of you guys probably know exactly where to find Jamie, but there's a link to his. He's kicking it off at 2 a.m. Pacific time on his channel. And again, the way that it goes is there's 16 of us, and we're all doing an hour. It's starting at 2 a.m. and just going until 6 p.m. Saturday. For us, I guess it's all Saturday, but going till 6 p.m. So I'm at 3 p.m. Pacific time, and I'll be turning a. Let me get all the goodies. I don't want anyone to miss out and forget and not know. I'm going to be turning. This is kind of what my example in my head, my I don't know, the sample thing. I'm going to turn a mallet. I got a couple of blanks here. This one is a kind of a black starry looking thing, a burl in there. I don't know if you guys can kind of see, sort of. It's kind of hard to see. I went a little bit too much with the purple on this end, but see-through. Going to make the mallet head out of this. Going to make the handle out of this piece. This is a piece of blurple. And then I'm gonna hand cut threads. Hopefully it'll go good. Do some hand thread chasing to fit the two parts together. So hopefully I'll have the timing down. I'm gonna kind of have to hurry, I think, a little bit to get everything done, but I think it should be fun. I'm really excited about it. I've kind of played around with chasing threads. I've been looking at hand chasing threads for a long time, kind of following Sam Angelo over at Wyoming Woodturner. And I've always been really interested, and so I finally bought the Carter & Son tool. And it's really not that hard. I think that if you want exceptional results, you got to do a little bit of practice. But I was able to nail the threads on my first attempt ever, and they go together. They're not super tight, but it works. So it should be pretty fun. So I'll be at 3 p.m. And then, I don't know, there's just tons of people doing all kinds of cool stuff. So make sure to tune in tomorrow for the live events. It's going to be awesome. I'm going to be hanging out in the chat rooms. I do have to work tomorrow, so before I go on. So I'll be kind of popping in and out. I'm not going to be, I may kind of pop in at 2 a.m. for the kickoff for just like a high buy, because I'm usually that's usually when I'm going to bed. So I might see you guys at 2 a.m. tonight over on Jamie's channel. Then I'm going to bed, and then I'll probably see you guys for, kind of popping in and out during the day tomorrow. And then obviously getting ready for my demo. So it should be pretty cool. I think that's about it. So I hope you guys have a wonderful evening. I will see you guys in and out of everybody's YouTube channel tomorrow. And then let's see here. So the next stream should be on Wednesday next week, and we'll do something. I will let you guys know. I may have to take Wednesday off next week. So let me just, I don't know yet, but I may not be able to do the stream on Wednesday. If that's the case, I will definitely see you guys on Friday. But otherwise, I will see you guys on Wednesday, and we will have another stream. But I will see you guys tomorrow. It's at 3 p.m. Pacific time for a little bit of mallet turning first. So have a great night, guys. Thanks for joining the fun, and I will talk to you tomorrow.